What is up, everybody? Welcome to the BJT Show. I'm your host, Byron. And for this episode, I have a very special guest. He plays linebacker for the University of South Carolina. Number 17, Demetrius Knight Jr. Demetrius, thank you for joining.
Absolutely, man. Pleasure to be here, man. Appreciate you.
So, I want to give a bit of a background of how we know each other for those that don't know. So, Demetrius and I played football at high schools that were sort of near each other. I went to Eagles Landing Christian Academy, and he went to Strong Rock Christian Academy. And our teams played each other in pretty much every sport. So we actually played football against each other twice, and my team won both of those games. Just gotta let everybody know. But Demetrius played well pretty much every time he played against Eagles Landing Christian Academy. So, shout out to him. But also, we went to the same church, and we would often sit together in church, and we would play pickup basketball, with our mutual friends. So that just gives a little bit of a background.
Absolutely, man. Hit it right on the head.
So you initially went to Georgia Tech to play football. What was your recruitment process like in high school?
Yeah. So, of course, going to Strong Rock wasn't much of a. How do I say it? We weren't too highly recruited as you guys were over there at Elka. It was pretty rough. Not many schools came through there. Not many schools knew we existed, really. Um, so when it came to the recruitment process, it really took time to go to other schools, go to different camps during the summers. You know, when you're an athlete in high school, usually by your sophomore through senior year, you don't really have summers anymore because you're usually doing camps and playing a lot of football. That's mainly how my recruiting was. Strong Rock they did their part as well. So shout out to those guys. They helped me where they could. But other than that, it was my mom was the trooper of it all, making sure that I got to camps on time, making sure I got to camps one. Spending the extra little money that we had just so I could have a chance to get out there and compete with guys out there. With places like Miami and Georgia Tech. That one just Georgia Tech just ended up being the closest one to us. So she was like, we'll do this one, and that was the camp that went very well for me in all aspects of the camp, from a measurable standpoint to performing on the field and off the field. Of course, that was the old staff before the Coach Collins staff. It was uh, Paul Johnson was the coach that I was planning on playing for, but ended up playing for Coach Collins as well, another great coach. But the recruiting process is hard. I can't imagine how it is now. I'd imagine it's even harder, but it's, of course, with COVID being thrown in there, it threw a lot of people off. I'm extremely blessed that I wasn't a part of that group. But recruiting was hard then. I can't imagine how it is now, but it was rough. But we made it to this point now where, God has His reasons for everything, and just grateful for the journey.
You went to Georgia Tech, then UNC Charlotte, and then you transferred to the University of South Carolina. What's the biggest difference between those schools, and what has your experience been like at those schools?
Yeah, so the biggest difference would be, of course, no shots to Georgia Tech or Charlotte with the conferences that those guys play in. Great conferences, a lot of great football teams in those conferences. And shout out to all those conferences. The ACC and the AAC, American Conference. Great football is being played in those conferences each year that a lot of people overlook, but. In the SEC, yeah, I know it says it on the commercials and everywhere else where you see branding and things like that, but it truly does just mean more in the SEC. You wake up every morning and teams aren't usually asking or saying, "Oh, who does Charlotte play today?" or "Who does Navy play today?" or "Who does Louisville play today?" Usually, teams wake up and they're like, "Oh, I wonder who Georgia plays today." And you don't even have to be a Georgia fan. You don't have to be a Tennessee fan. Florida, teams like that. We wonder who's Florida playing today, who's Tennessee playing today. Things like that. It just means more in the SEC. Of course, there's a lot more fanfare. Things are taken a lot more serious with rivalry games and things like that that we ourselves just got done playing. So it means a lot, especially in the SEC, and even those SEC battles mean a lot because it's the best of the best. Everybody wants to get to the SEC, whether even the best just to be a referee. Referees even want to be in the SEC officiating because that's again it's the best, it's the top, it's the best of the best. But being at those other schools taught me plenty of lessons where you go from being the guy on your team like I was at Strong Rock to quickly being humbled that it's a lot more athletes on the team now. So I had to learn that quickly at Georgia Tech. That hey, I've got to earn my spot. I've got to earn my stripes. If you will, with us being an Adidas school and everything. But and then at Charlotte, it was more being molded into the leadership role, having played football for a couple of years, and then now at South Carolina, just putting it all together and letting the Lord do His work through me at each place that I've been at, creating a legacy that He's definitely been doing here in South Carolina.
For sure, for sure. They say SEC football is different, and I highly agree. It's like SEC football, the fans, the stadiums, just everything about SEC football is just heightened as it
Yeah,
compares to the rest of college football.
yeah, definitely.
What went into your decision to transfer to South Carolina?
Yeah, it was just Charlotte was amazing. It was great for me and my family. Definitely much needed for our family, our growing family. Being in the middle of downtown Atlanta isn't the best place to raise a family and have a daughter, but Charlotte was great. We call Charlotte the Queen City. My daughters we call it her city because that's where she's born, and it was a breath of fresh air, if you will. Been in Atlanta for a couple of years and going to Charlotte, new territory, navigating new waters, but kind of feel like home at the same time, just because we're not close to anything city wise. Nice, beautiful, quiet campus, great walkways and things like that. Um, it was just, I guess it would say it was time. It was the Lord's will for me to move to other places, continue to keep doing His will, doing His work in other places. I wanted to go out with a bang, and I know at Charlotte that being our first year and going out like that, it wasn't what I had planned. It wasn't what any of us had planned, but I wanted to make sure that this last year counted, and not to say that it would have counted if I stayed in Charlotte. Most definitely would have made it count, but I wanted to make sure that I put my family, because I'm a big family guy. I want to make sure I put them in the best possible position by helping myself be able to perform at a high level. And yeah, like you said, the SEC, that's as big as it gets. So what an opportunity to perform in the SEC and get that that great look at the next level. And as you transition from college to NFL, the SEC is one of the best that does it. That prepares you for the NFL truly for the guys that you'll match up against and play with.
South Carolina has had a really good season this year. Y'all have beaten teams like Missouri, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Clemson, and such, and you also almost beat Alabama and a plethora of other really good schools. How well do you think the Gamecocks have done this season?
I think we have played to our standard. We have, I think, gone over expectation. At the beginning of the season, it can be shaky because of course, you got new players like myself and other guys that come in and hold high expectations. But us being new guys, you can't really say too much. You just have to not get in where you fit in, but you have to be humble. You have to learn people. You have to create those relationships off the field so you can have those relationships on the field. So when those hard times come up in games, you can respond the right way, and that's what we were able to do after the Alabama game. Of course, we came up short, but that game kind of showed us that we can play with the best of them, and that it's the mindset part that does a lot for teams in this league. So if you can, you have a great imagery, have great belief, have great faith. You can have seasons like we're having right now, which is probably one of the best historical seasons that South Carolina has seen in a minute. Since having great coaches like Spurrier come through there and whatnot, but with our coach, Coach Beamer, doing a phenomenal job, and it's not gonna. There'll be no drop off. In the next couple of years with the guys that are on this roster and the guys that they're continuing to recruit. So it's not just a win for 2024, but it'll be wins going on down the line just because of what we've been able to put on the field and off the field this year alone.
Speaking of head coach Shane Beamer, how has he, sort of helped you with your development as a player and as a person since you've been at South Carolina?
Yeah, he's all about the team, the team, the team. We are big on being for each other. We're big on relationships because if it's 4th and 1 and you're out there with a guy that plays nose tackle when he has to be subbed in or somebody else to sub in for his spot and you don't know him that well, he's not going to take constructive criticism very well if you try to yell at him and you don't talk to him in the locker room. So I bring up a situation a lot where it can be a guy in the back of the locker room in the last row, a guy on the first row. If you don't talk to that guy on the last row and he ends up in the game with you, you guys aren't going to know how to communicate. You guys aren't going to know how to talk to each other. And then those can flare up into bigger problems on the sideline. And then, the team's worried about y'all two fighting instead of the task at hand, which is to win the game at all costs. So he prides this program and really all of us now pride ourselves on being the closest connected group in the country. And that goes to, going through workouts, fighting through workouts together and things like that and doing, things off the field. So, guys did whitewater rafting and things and small activities like that, going bowling as a group, going to a movie as a group, things like that helps, create the camaraderie of not just, constantly on the field things, but off the field things as well. So you can get to know each other, like truly break down those barriers and get to know everybody at different position groups so that when it gets to the nitty gritty of the season, that when we got to Texas A&M, who was, supposed to run rule us, we shocked the country, but we weren't shocked because we knew the type of guys that we have on our team and we know each other. It goes back to loving each other, and when you truly go through things together, like the team went through last year and what we've been through this year, it truly makes you close. And when you're close and connected like that, you're willing to do anything for the guy next to your left and to your right.
Yeah, that's definitely a good perspective. Good leadership and camaraderie is so important for a football team or just teams in general in sports, and it's so important, for a player to know that this player has their back and,
Yep.
good communication, good leadership, and, all those sorts of things can for sure contribute to winning games.
Yep.
You recently played against Clemson for college football's 2024 rivalry week, and you sealed the game with an interception, and you guys got the victory. How did that feel?
That's a feeling I will never forget for years and years to come. Of course, my kids don't understand it now, but when they become college football fans, as I hope they'll be Gamecock fans and not on the orange side of things. I hope they'll realize what a play that was and how monumental that is. And of course, I've had a couple of people uh, walk by me at the facility saying that you'll be remembered forever as a Gamecock because of plays like that, and that's awesome to know. Of course, I know it's a big thing. It's Carolina football. Uh, there is no in between. You're either all orange and purple, or you're garnet and white. So just to be able to seal the deal and do it on such a stage as that is phenomenal. Last regular season game, rivalry week, rivalry team. You're in enemy territory. Anything can happen any given Saturday with college football, and of course ours comes down to the wire and just in the right place at the right time, being led by the Lord. And when you listen, good things happen. Of course, keeping the faith, great things happen as well. So uh, again, it'll be something I'll never forget. I have the ball now. Uh, I'm definitely not putting that anywhere in any trophy case. That's got to go up top on the wall somewhere. But yeah, that'll be something I'll remember forever.
After you sealed the game with that interception, there was a video posted by South Carolina's, um, social media pages, and you were on the sideline and you were saying that's what God does. And so I wanted to ask you, how big of a role has your faith played in your career?
Yeah, my faith has been everything in my career. Because you can go through ups and downs, and of course with college football, you have to be a student athlete. So there's of course the athlete part that everyone sees on Saturdays, but the student parts that people don't see behind the scenes. And it can be hard because you have to make certain grades to be eligible. You have to stay on top of things, and sometimes professors will work with you, and other times professors won't work with you just because you are a football player, and not necessarily because of you, but because of football players in the past that may have taken advantage of professors or not taking their class serious. So they'll have their own opinions of football players. The second they see a football player in their class, they'll automatically think that you won't take the class serious. But that's when faith comes into practice, where you show love, you show gratitude, you say thank you, yes ma'am, no ma'am, you ask for extra help, you give 100% just like we're supposed to give, as if you're doing it for the Lord. And those professors will come back and they'll change their mind and be like, oh yeah, I mistook you for something else. You're not just the average ball player. And that's how we're called to be. We're called to be different, and we all have, of course, different walks of life. But uh, with each walk of life, you have the opportunity to share your faith, and not just by trying to shove Jesus down everybody's throats, but using the platform that He gives you. So allow me to be in the SEC, allow me to be a linebacker in the SEC, allow me to be on such a stage as this. To much is given, much is required. So I take this as an opportunity to make His name known, make His name great, and of course He rewards you for that. I believe Saturday was a reward for just continue to be constant in prayer and faithful. That's why I was on the sideline saying that's what God does, because it is what He does. He's he's uh he's always on time. Of course, it can feel like 2 years off your life with how close that game was, but he's always on time. May not come when you want it, but He's always on time. And of course, you got to learn how to persevere. As you persevere, you learn a lot of things through that He leads you through, that you can help other people through. So, there are freshmen that may be frustrated, and other freshmen here at Carolina that wonder why they don't get as many reps. But I tell them that I was in the same shoes they were not long ago at Georgia Tech, doing special teams, doing kickoff, KOR, doing punt, truly doing the dirty work, and it, your fruit, the fruit of your labor does come to fruition as long as you stay persistent, you remain faithful in prayer, remain prayed up, continue to keep reading the word, talking to God, and keep seeking Him. And you end up finishing games like I did the other day, and a whole lot more from where that comes from. So, what an opportunity! Again, never gonna stop giving thanks, just because I know prayer works, and I know He works because He's Almighty, all powerful, and that's the biggest thing for me and my family.
Yeah, I really respect that for sure, and I'm sure, so many people do. I know there's a Bible verse that says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God." So,
That's right. Yep.
with all of your success in your football career, how have you, been able to stay humble through it all?
Yeah, it's just being constant in prayer has been the main part of how I've been able to be humble. There was a time where, you know, started to get the big head a little bit, and uh, the Lord, He'll humble you for a second by having you go through an injury, or having you get passed up on, having a younger guy get put in front of you, um, like it did at Georgia Tech. Because I'm thinking, oh, I deserve to be up next. I'm the next guy behind the starter, so it should automatically be me. and that's not the way to think about it. You gotta go to work every day like it's your last, and always put your best foot forward because again, he's called you to give 100% because he gave 100% for us, 110% for us on the cross. So it's he'll humble you very quickly. You get on your high horse, and those are the moments you learn. Like, yeah, okay, I can't. That's not me. I wasn't called to be prideful. Wasn't called to be proud. I was called to put others before myself. And he'll say it says in the Bible, the last will be first. So just learn to always put others before myself. Um, Same when you have a family of your own, putting them before your own needs and wants, and the Lord will continue to provide. So uh, just learning the ropes of humility and asking Him to keep me humble each and every day when I pray in the morning and at night, just so I don't forget where I come from, and just so I don't forget when I do receive the things that I pray for, that I don't just forget about Him. That He's always getting glory before the blessings, in the midst of the blessings, and after the blessings as well.
Nice, nice. Speaking of Georgia Tech, I want to bring it back a little bit. So I'm sure you remember y'all were playing against the University of Georgia. I think you were a freshman at the time on the team, and I think you sacked Jake Fromm. I'm not sure if it was for a safety or not, or a fumble return for a touchdown, something like that. But how did that feel to, do that as a freshman?
Yeah, I told a couple of teammates back at in high school that the second I had the opportunity to sack or just to even tackle Jake Fromm, that I do it, and that they're that strong right there, great big time Georgia fans. So they talk a lot of smack there, and they didn't really believe that I'd get a chance to get a hit on him. And of course, once I once I saw him scrambling, he's running, trying to make a play on his own. Of course, the eyes light up. As of course, as a freshman, the eyes get big. And second I saw he tried to do a spin move, and he spun right into me. I made the tackle, and I was like, "Yep, there it is right there." I told those guys back home I'd get a hit on him, and then there it was.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I remember watching it on TV. I was like, "Oh snap, Demetrius just got a sack."
Yeah,
So I thought that was really cool.
yes, sir.
What has been your favorite play or plays throughout your college football career?
Well, of course, off the bat, just the play the other day, sealing the game for us there in Clemson to go back home victorious to Columbia and meet all the Gamecock fans back at the facility holding up the Palmetto Bowl trophy. That will, of course, always go down as my number one favorite play. Another one would be last year at Charlotte. Led the team in interceptions. The first one would be against Tua's brother, great quarterback Tualia. First play of the game. Try to throw it out to the running back out in the flat just to get warmed up. From film study, I know he likes to get warmed up with the small, quick throws, and they did something similar when they played Towson the game before, and they motioned him out to empty. Again, Holy Spirit working in me, saying, as soon as the ball snaps, run to the right, and that's where the ball ended up going. I catch it in midair and run it back for a touchdown to start out the game. Our offense drove down. Then their first play on offense, our first play of defense, pick six. So those plays right off the bat go down as some of my favorite plays.
Speaking of, college football and talking about the subject of that and SEC football and, the rankings and everything, I'm not sure what the updated rankings are as far as, teams 6 through 12 or 15 or anything like that. But, wherever South Carolina is ranked, do you think y'all should be ranked higher, maybe in the top 10 to, 14-ish if you're not already there?
Yeah, I mean, if we're not already there, then something may have to be reevaluated. Just because we're playing great football right now. We're 9-3, we haven't lost since Alabama, and that's a long time to be playing football and not receive a loss. We've played against a lot of ranked opponents that, of course, it started with A&M. They're number 10 in the country, if not lower at the time, and we take them out and just go on a run. Vanderbilt and whoever's next. Just each week focusing on going 1-0, making sure we handle business each week. And of course, with this win over 12 Clemson, we're hoping that gives a great resume for the college football playoff committee, just because there are other 9-3 teams trying to get in as well, that we won't speak about. But sometimes you got to look at the resume, see who teams are playing, because some teams, in no disrespect, it's definitely hard to win games in college football any given week. But when you play ranked opponents pretty much from the beginning of the season, like we have, that's a great resume as to why we should have not just the benefit of the doubt, but why our hard work should make room for us. That's another saying that we have, that your hard work will make room for you. And our hard work, since Alabama going 9-3, finishing out the rest of the season, unbeaten, I believe deserves a chance to be just to be in the talk, or if not, just to be right there at number 12 when it comes, playoff decision time. Of course, you can put in all the other teams that you want. All we want is a shot. So you can make us the 12th team, you can make us the 11th or 10th team. Either one is cool. Uh, all we want is a shot, and we if we get that 12 spot, it'll be a lot of chaos caused in that college football playoff.
Yeah, definitely. I was saying this after the Georgia Tech and Georgia game. I was like, look, regardless of what ranking a team has, this team is of course going to beat this team, this and that. Anybody can be beat in college
Mhm.
football.
Right,
Anybody can be beat any given Saturday or Friday, Thursday, whenever they play the game. Anybody can be beat in college football for sure.
right, definitely.
So, with your great college career that you've had, what's next for you? Is the NFL draft next, or what's next for you?
Yeah, next will most definitely be the NFL. It's been a dream since I was a kid. Of course, I didn't think it'd be playing NFL, a linebacker in the NFL. Uh, I thought it would always be, playing quarterback or some other, skill position that gets the ball a lot. The highlighted positions, but uh, kind of a quick turn of events where I'm a linebacker, but thinking about how my mom taught it to me, you're just a line, you're just the quarterback of the defense now. You play quarterback in high school, just flip your mindset, and now instead of getting hit, you get to do the hitting and you get to help get people set up and things like that. So uh, that's great. Shout out to Mama Knight for helping me go through with it at the linebacker position, because I didn't think it was for me, but she helped me flip my mind into thinking, okay, that I can do this. I'm just the quarterback of the defense, help get people set up, and yeah, that's what I'll be focusing on. Hopefully, on these next few months. Of course, we'll be in the training process, regardless of we get in or not, making sure we're ready for combine and things like that. But definitely looking forward to this next chapter and where we end up going NFL wise.
Was that an NFL draft declaration on the BJT show?
Well, I don't have any. Don't think I have any more eligibility left. Yeah, even if I did, I'd most likely end up declaring anyway. But yeah, man, that's gonna wrap up the college career for me, man.
So, speaking of you playing quarterback, people might not know this. But Demetrius used to play quarterback, and we actually worked out together one time where I was running routes with some of our friends, and Demetrius was throwing the ball. And I kid you not, he's got an arm. He was throwing me the ball, I'm catching. I'm like, dang, it's kind of, has a little bit of sting on it. Especially it was cold outside, and the ball hitting my hands. I have small hands too, so already knowing that was a bit difficult.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that day, man. Cold day, cold day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to get into sort of the rapid fire questions of this episode. So I want to start off with, what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie has to be The Goonies, hands down.
What's your go-to breakfast?
Go to breakfast has to be French toast.
With syrup or without syrup?
Definitely gotta have the syrup.
Waffle House or IHOP?
Man, I gotta go Waffle House just because I can't ever get past an All Star special.
I like how the All-Star special will change a lot every time you order it. Sometimes it might be like $7.95, and another time it might be $8.30 or something like that. But
Yeah,
nonetheless, it is definitely good.
yeah.
If you could be a superhero, what type of superhero would you be?
Uh, I'd have to be like Batman, just because it's kind of part of my what my teammates call me already, with my initials being DK, the Dark Knight. Of course, Bruce Wayne is rich millionaire, but there's a lot of things you can do with money. Get your car souped up, have a little hideaway tucked behind the cave and whatnot. Get the right gear to go and fight crime. I'd probably have to be Bruce Wayne, Batman.
If you weren't playing football, what's an ideal career for you?
Uh, that would be the movie business. I love how things work as far as setting up things for movies, like putting up together stages, putting up together for um, commercials, things like that. Of course, I do like screenwriting, screenplays, and things like that. Of course, after football is done, I'll find my way into that. But with my degree from Georgia Tech, which will have me set up from day one. But it'll be definitely fun to get into the movie world and movie side of things. So definitely looking forward to that.
Nice, nice. I know the movie business can be tough, it's a lot of long hours, a lot of production work, production meetings, and, those sorts of things.
Right. Yeah.
All right, folks, I guess that wraps up this episode of the BJT Show. Shout out to Demetrius Knight II for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Y'all can follow his social medias in the description. Y'all can follow my social medias, which will be in the description. And like I always say, hope y'all have a good one. Peace out.